Hello and welcome to this week's episode of TLDR CLG. This is the week of April 13th, 2015, and I'm here with my co-hosts Cry and Jim. I hope you missed me because I totally forgot to do stuff last week and my co-host kind of abandoned me. So moving on to what happened in LoL, CS, and Halo this week. For LoL, there wasn't really much because we kind of got ruffle stomped in the TL series, so that was nice. And we kind of didn't really do much this week. So can you guys just tell me what happened this week? Where were Zion and Double If? Did we? No?
So we had some cool stuff. Zion and Double were on the analyst desk. For the first day, TL versus C9, we had Darshan, Zion. And then for the second day, we had TSM versus TIP, and Double was able to come up on the analyst desk, which was really cool because we just got to see him up and about, you know, not behind just their computer screens streaming. And also we had like some pretty cool interviews. We had a Zion interview and a Double If text interview. We have a bunch of stuff to talk about that too. So
you know, if we can't make worlds, we can still make that world's analyst desk. So
yeah,
moving on.
On the note of of Zion's interview, one thing to point out there's the opposite of what you said, Brendon. They didn't really get crushed per se. Zion's opinion of it, or at least in the first two games, and if you go review the games a few times, I find it not too hard to agree with him. They had very generally strong tactics, just had some execution failure.
Let's just play Karthus and Vladimir into.
Yes, that's a strategic issue, not a tactical issue.
Yeah. What is the difference between strategy and tactics?
What's the difference between strategy and tactics?
Mm-hmm.
Strategy tends to be the overall plan of the execution of a grand scheme, whereas tactics is the individual specific plays or movements within an event.
Didn't Sejuani fail to hit a single? He hit like
that's execution.
That's also wouldn't that? Well,
no, tactics is deciding to go for that team fight. Execution is him missing the ultimate.
And the strategic is just them picking the wrong team comp.
I actually have something I've written up on this, and I'll go into really deeply in how these all apply to different games, League specifically initially. But I have stuff on Smash Bros, Halo, CS:GO, etc.
Okay, so you're saying that strategically they weren't sound, execution they weren't sound, but tactically they were sound?
Yes.
Strategically,
I think there are a few things that they did well strategically. One thing that actually was pointed out that becomes weird is I think strategically, historically, they've done very well in these 2v1 matchups. And they did well in the 2v1 matchups in the first two games. Mm-hmm. I guess I don't know if I went too much into this last week, but either way, they did.
No, all three games they did very well in 2v1. The last game they only just got a bunch of solo kills and.
Well, it eventually swapped back to being a 2v2. Anyway.
No, but it was when they swapped, they got a massive advantage every single time. Because
yes, but the reason I say it, so I think CLG tends to strategically rather than make the lane swap a tactical choice, like we're in the game, do we do this lane swap? They tend to do it, go into the game with that in mind. Mm-hmm. Let's do the lane swap. Whereas from hearing these interviews, like Zion's interview, and I think Double said this in his text interview as well, they were practicing for doing 2v2s and then made that decision on the fly, which is something that I thought was, threw me off because in my mind, okay, CLG lane swaps, they win the lane swaps, they're going to go for the lane swap. They're going to decide ahead of the time. And maybe, I don't know if they went too much into it, but maybe a good reason for practicing the 2v2s is that
shore up their weaknesses.
Shore up their weaknesses, and you would think that TL, since they know that they're not as good at those lane swaps, TL may intentionally fight the lane swap to try to make the even lanes.
All right.
So
good points.
At least shore up the weakness in that situation. Yeah, go ahead.
It's just like really frustrating because they knew what they were getting into and still only practicing the 2v2s. Like,
I don't know if they only practiced the 2v2s.
We don't know.
They were good at it.
Well, they talked about like focusing. Like, didn't Zion talk about in his interview about how they focused a lot on the 2v2 lanes?
Yeah.
And it's just like they knew. They knew what they were they knew what they were getting into, which is it felt a little bit like neglect. I'm not sure, but
I feel like neglect. So much.
I don't know how much it matters. The thing is, they still ended up with gold leads most of the time, and even kill leads. The thing that frustrated me about it was. Or that's not even a big deal with it is they did that, and maybe I don't know if changing up that strategy led to like where they had practiced. They knew how to execute when they were strong from the 2v2s, but they didn't know how to execute when they were strong from these 2v1s. And
Yeah.
like what showed in these matches was a lot of execution failure. There was a lot of like when you deciding to go for the tower dive trade thing, top lane or bottom lane, and lose the game off of that. Deciding to go for it isn't the bad thing. It's the while you're doing it failing. So I mean, it sucked, but I think like execution is something that it's more mental if your players are up to the skill level. So there's room to grow from it.
Yeah, this is a discussion that you guys talked about last week. I don't think we should really cover it too much, but I think that I really missed out on a really fun opportunity to just chat with Jim about this last week, because that was a very, very heated debate on our subreddit, on the main League of Legends subreddit, like what went wrong, how CLG did, and there's a lot of different speculations. So moving on to a little bit more of a speculation rumor thing, that there was, I think it was Jacob Wolf, Brayllcs, released an article saying that CLG has extended an offer to Corey to be their jungle position. Corey, if you don't know, is the mid laner for the 10th place EU LCS team MYM. And after this got released, Hotshot immediately went onto Reddit and onto Twitter saying that he denied talking to Corey, whether by Skype or by just talking to him at all. So what do you guys have any ideas on that? Or you guys have any opinions on that?
I guess one thing to point out, or at least I'd point out, is yes, in the current split, Corey was on this 10th place team. Mm-hmm. But if you recall, in the previous season, he was one of the top points earners and kill getters for his team, Super Hot Crew. He was mid laner, formerly known as Selfie. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should call it formerly known as Selfie.
The artist formerly known as Selfie.
Yeah, or the jungler.
The jungler.
if this
the
happened.
mid laner formerly known as Selfie.
Yeah, the only other thing that I point out, like one, it's hard to speculate on it. Like it's possible maybe this guy's source was just someone within the team that said that tweeted, or not tweeted, probably that would be more public, but like sent a Skype message to Corey like, "Hey, what are you doing?" After, and this guy, and also,
what's up, dog?
Yeah,
on a
like
jungle, bro.
Who knows? We don't have the exact specifics on it yet. The only other thing I'd say is like there were other roster speculation sort of things coming out. Like what's it? There have been Twitter speculations and lots of speculations that are actually like more based on some sort of fact that these players are available. The most specifically like potentially available players would be like Yusui, and the big one right now everyone's excited, Spirit maybe. But I think with what we saw from Zion and Double's interviews, it's less than likely that these players will even have offers extended to them, Corey included. Yeah,
it seems like they don't really think there's much of a problem within the team, so there might not be as many nuking tactics as people might want. So, Cry, give us your thoughts. What do you want? What do you think?
Personally, I feel like very jaded from all of the roster swaps, because there's always we keep changing. I feel like at this point we should just stop, slow down, and just work on the problems that we currently have. Personal opinion.
Link, Link,
we'll do
one more.
Except for, okay, I really don't want to hop on the Link hate train, but I feel like it's just not working. Maybe with the exception of Link, I feel like we should just sit down and just work on the problems, okay? Just maybe without Link in the equation. But this isn't a Link hate thing, because I don't.
Sounds an awful lot like a Link hate thing. Moving on to something slightly more pleasant. CLG. Oh, whoopsie. CLG CSGO. We actually did something. We won a game. We didn't get Ruffle stomped.
We stomped one game, at least.
Hey, we beat C9. Not in LoL, but we beat them. We beat C9, bros.
Yeah, there was only one game this week in FACEIT, though the sad thing about that game was, we beat C9, and both teams, in fact, were, like, whichever team won had the ability to go to the FACEIT LAN, which is not an international LAN, but that was with the stipulation that Elevate lost its upcoming game, which Elevate did not lose and did not even play. In fact, Luminosity forfeited to them. So both C9 and CLG were taken out of contention by default. It was kind of sad to see that. I was like, oh, this game's great. CLG's got it. They've got it in the bag. They can go to FACEIT. And then I read Luminosity forfeits. Oh, hi. Why you do this to us, Luminosity? I thought you were about training the brain.
All right. Hey. So we won. That was 16-4 on Nuke. Was a pretty good thing.
I think the big thing is it pointed out one thing that CLG has gotten better at is it's like one of the things that they've done in League of Legends as well. They've gotten good at making smart rotations, like timing their rotations, and specifically maps like Nuke. It's very important to, if you make that perfectly timed rotation where like all of your players are moving in tandem, Nuke, you can just shut down terrorist sides. That's why you see like 15-0 CT sides. That's why that happens, is because once the CTs figure out what the terrorists are doing, they can just move, shut it down, and the round's over. It's like
also,
CLG showed that they can do it. You're saying?
They did get a perfect CT side, which is awesome, but it's also really funny because by the time that they switched over sides, I mean, granted, on Nuke, CT side has more of an advantage. It was just really funny because C9 started coming back a little bit, and everyone was like, wait, really?
I do recall, I'm pretty sure Hazed was like one shot off of making the 16-0.
Yeah, he was this close. He was this close. Who was it? Who were they versus? They were versus...
I think it was Shazam, maybe.
Who was it? I think, was it Shroud that like got him? Like, because a lot of the times
he was down, I think 1v3, and he pulled off 2 kills, but couldn't. Couldn't make the last one happen. But you can't.
CLG kept getting put into like these like 1v2, 1v3 situations, and they were almost there, but it just looked like they were
get their last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to talk about some of the things that were mentioned last week, like the op nerf, the Tech 9, and like a lot of the other stuff that was like more of the mechanics and subtleties of the game. Yeah. But I think you guys covered it a little bit. I'm just saying, like, people were like kind of PTR wasn't like performing up to his usual standard, and a lot of people, or at least I thought that PTR just maybe he had trouble adjusting to the op, because a lot of the high profile ops like Kenny S, Guardian, and like one more. I think there's Kenny G.
Kenny G, the greatest offer.
Kenny G, the greatest offer. They're saying that they just didn't feel right, and there's a lot of like there are people like there's a public outcry about the whole op situation, and a lot of the high profile operas are just saying that this isn't like how this isn't fit their persona. Oh, and JW, right? Yeah. JW doesn't seem to be as much.
Well, it's so the nerfs in the recent patches to CS:GO, they're interesting per se because like the two big nerfs would be to the Tech 9 reducing its ammo and its damage at a range, and then the op reducing movement speed while scoped by 33%, I think it was.
30-something. I think it was 33.
I think it's just like by a third. Both of those respectively are nerfs to the terrorist side in a reasonable sense, just because terrorist side aggressive oppers are able to make plays off of quick peeking angles and trying to beat their opposing opper, whereas the CT side having slow op scope speed means that you can just sit and hold an angle, and you have more time to react to the guy's hitbox popping out trying to quick peek you and beat you in that trade. So a lot of these high-profile op players are having trouble with it just because the way Kenny S would carry his team, the way JW would carry his team, were because they'd win all these T-sided rounds that they shouldn't win, or they open up the T-sided round by being hyper-aggressive with the op, just getting in the enemy team's face, getting that kill, and then go sitting and holding an angle. Or even, in Kenny S's case, get that early kill, get another kill, and then keep pushing it until they just win and have the team follow them up. So it's interesting. The most interesting part to me has to be these both hit the T side, which like in CS:GO history overall, the T side has been not so favored on almost every map. So thinking, oh well, they're T side nerfs. Well, that's just going to make things more CT sided. I think that brings us to like the most interesting part of our CS:GO for this week, this past week was just about an hour ago. Today being Monday, we watched CLG play Elevate in the CEVO LAN finals in their best of 3. And the reason I say this is interesting is because in both of those matches, or both of the maps they played in the best of 3, the T-sided team, like the most rounds were won on the T-sides.
Yeah.
Cash and Nuke, not particularly like Nuke. Sorry, not Cash and Nuke. Cash and Dust too.
Yeah, I was about to say Nuke.
Yeah, right. That's not T-sided at all. Cash tends to be quite like reasonably CT-sided with some T-side rounds being available, whereas Dust is getting more T-sided, but not like unbearably T-sided. It was just overwhelming. The amount of rounds won on T-sides was just insane. Which I don't know how I can pull that out of my head unless they like somehow are playing on a previous patch or something. Because they're not playing with OP Tech 9. They're not playing with quick peeking, shoulder peeking ops.
A lot of people were saying that yes, they got nerfed, but these nerfs didn't address the problems. They're saying that the Tech 9, the Tech 9, those last 9 bullets don't really mean much. You're supposed to be, and the range damage doesn't nerf. If you're firing a Tech 9 from range, you're not doing something right. You should be up close, just trying to spray it into them, and then unload your clip. If you can get 20 or 20 bullets into that person, then you're doing your job right. If you still need that extra 9 bullets, you're doing something wrong, and you should be dead by then, right?
Yeah, you're not aiming right. That's what's happening.
Well, no, you should be either he should be dead or you should be dead, because if you can get out the whole clip,
that's what I mean.
Then that person isn't aiming at all, and you just can't.
Exactly.
You haven't killed the guy yet.
Well, but like in any case, even if they don't address the specific problems with
they were nerfs, though.
They were nerfs that should impact T-side more than CT side. Specifically, like Tech 9 is going to be less effective. Like, not as less effective as people want it to be, but it will be less effective. And the op is going to be less effective for what people use it on T-side. And the first thing we see is this LAN tournament where T-sides are heavily won on.
Okay. Have they addressed the tagging thing with pistols yet, or no? Has that not been addressed?
I'm pretty sure that I think I read, and it may not be live notes, that's the thing.
Okay.
I do recall reading that your movement speed is impacted in tagging by what you're hit with now,
okay,
or at least a portion of what you're hit with. Because that was the biggest problem with the Tech 9, or one of the big problems with the Tech 9, was that when you're running around with the Tech 9, what you're tagging, like you're slowed when you're shot, was impacted by what gun you were holding. So you're running with a Tech 9, it's a pistol, so you don't get slowed that much if you get hit by a rifle, which in like real sense you should be slowed down by getting hit by a rifle, but you're carrying this pistol, you keep going fast, you just run around a corner and spray as hard as you can into where you find out the general direction or pick the angles that you're trying to cover, and you win fights that you shouldn't win. So I think the idea is they may or may not have changed tagging so that you shoot someone with a rifle and they're slowed.
I remember that was a really big debate on the CS subreddit, the Global Offensive subreddit, because that was people were talking about how it's stupid how 5 people can be shooting you, you're running faster than.
It's illogical.
And then I think there was one more thing about how pistols were rewarding spray over. I think it was there are
a lot of pistols
that were rewarding spray instead of and trying to dodge rather than trying to hit something.
Well, it's spray and try to dodge mainly because
rather rewarding.
There are several pistols that at most ranges or even with head armor will get a headshot will kill someone in one shot. So you just unload your like the 5.7. You just unload your entire clip and pray. Yeah,
and eventually it's turned to where people. I think Thorne was saying that it's the pistol problem where it's not about aiming. It's about whoever can get the most lucky, and it's essentially a roulette wheel after you. And it's removing all semblance of skill from the game, from that aspect of the game where you're just like 2 people spamming headshots and crouching and dodging, trying to change your hitboxes. And
to some degree. So like back to at least the CLG stuff.
Like I got sidetracked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are important things. They impact.
They do impact CLG a lot.
They do.
Yeah. So
CLG.
If you didn't catch the start of the CEVO tournament, there is more to come. We'll talk about that in a bit. But CLG played against Elevate, who was expected to do. Honestly, we're expected to do quite well. The only problem that Elevate had is they had 2 of their members subbed out for.
Yeah.
But the replacing members on their team are just
crazy.
Carries is a good way to put it.
They had Hiko in and who else?
Skadoodle.
Oh wait, Hiko and Skadoodle were subs?
Yeah.
Hiko and Skadoodle were subs.
Both of which played a massive role in the game.
They went crazy.
Yeah, they had the right players if you wanted to have ringers.
And Hiko got like crazy lurk. He got like
that's what Hiko's good at.
He like walked up the PTR and it's like tapped in once with an AK.
No, he did that like maybe 3 times throughout like the second game at least.
He got it like 3 times in a row, like once.
Yeah, no, that was insane. That was really good.
That's one of the things that Hiko is known for. Is
he,
like when he was on Cloud9 in the short period he was with iBuyPower before they disbanded, he was lurking like a motherfucker. Like he knew the right places to hide and just follow something. Like if you rewatch the VoDs on these and you get confused, well, why doesn't he got the shot? Why doesn't he just go kill him? The reason he's holding off on his shot most of the time,
hide information.
Well, it's hide information, but particularly, well, I have one person in my sights.
What's the second?
He may have another person that's just in front of him or at a different angle that he doesn't see. I'll get to see 2 people fire on the first one and possibly get the second one off of it.
Yeah.
Like you take your time. Unless you know that person walking in front of you is putting your team at risk, just take your time.
It was kind of crazy. But going to just try to go briefly, I have a lot of notes, so does Jim. CLG, we played catch. It was 6-1 for CLG, then it was 12-3 on TCT side, which is kind of insane. And then they started a little bit of a comeback, then it was 2-7 on CT, so we managed to call those 2 wins out. Wait. Those numbers don't add up.
Yes. So more or less, CLG had a really strong T side. They opened on T side. CLG had picked Cash as their map in the pick phase, and they won the pistol round and had a really strong T side, winning 12 rounds. What had ended up happening was they weren't. I think they picked up the pistol round in the CT side.
Yeah, I think so.
But they weren't able to. So what ended up happening more or less was Elevate caught up and was mounting a comeback. Is a good way to put it. They were picking off the right rounds from CLG. Like CLG would win a round, win a rifle round, then lose a round, and that just ecos them out for multiple rounds because they invested so heavily in that first rifle round and then the second rifle round to try to eco out or win a second round.
Were the Tech 9s part of the problem?
Not particularly. There are a few good plays with the one of the big things, and I think this may be why the T side is improving. One of the changes we didn't talk about so much is there were buffs to SMGs.
Oh yeah, it's SMGs.
So now that I'm thinking about it, that may be a big factor into why T sides are doing better. But in the end, CLG was able to pick up they got to a 15-10, I think, at one point, and just saved the right rounds that they needed to save on and won a good round. It was a good it was good to watch. Good to watch catch. Both teams performed pretty well.
So moving on to the next map, which is Dust 2, which I think was Elevate's choice. It actually started off pretty. It was like a really mixed bag. It was like we started off 0-7 on CT side, which is
that was painful
to watch. But then like I think it was on like the second or third one. Like clutch, I know it was on the pistol round. The initial pistol round, Cutler got a clutch 4K. He jumped down. He got another one of the guys with his pistol is shooting him.
There were several rounds, in fact,
we got
the same thing happened where CLG would win out on kills, but didn't have kits because they had been losing rounds. Didn't have kits and couldn't defuse.
And I think the first pistol round, like Cutler was off by like 2 seconds for his defuse, and he just couldn't get the defuse off. We've repeatedly got like a bunch of T's down, but then we just couldn't get it off. I think the thing really just like snowballed into a little bit of a lead because they're so close yet kind of really that far. But then the whole thing really turned around when FNS got a 6-3K by the pit, where FNS and Cutler, they locked down that first round. They FNS got the 3K by the pit where they're sneaking by long, right?
Yeah, long.
And then FNS got the 3K in the smoke. He jumped back, Cutler and him locked it down. But then I think Raka got a plant, and then they shot him up, and then they got the kill, right? But they got the round for that.
Yeah, there was like if you want to watch an intense Dust 2, like one thing to point out is so these guys Elevate picked Dust 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they picked Dust 2.
Which is awfully convenient.
You would think,
sorry.
well, you'd think that, right? The reason that you picked Dust 2 in Elevate's position is Dust 2 is a very like simple map.
Yep.
Like it's a known quantity. There aren't boosts that people don't know. There's actually been boosts removed. There aren't like really many flashes or smokes that are really sneaky that you can pull off on people at this point. So if you're a team that has two fresh faces in it that are just really good aimers and really good at what
just
they
let
do.
them do what they do.
Yeah, you're gonna pub. You're gonna do well. Like, it's better than picking like a cobblestone or something that requires very strong strategy. Like you can play Dust by ear, and they showed that they can play Dust by ear quite well.
God, Skadoodle and Hika were going off. So then just gonna go a little bit more.
Skadoodle was crazy. Oh my god.
Crazy.
Sorry.
Yeah, but then so it was like we started off 0-7. They got the 1 round, and then it was 1-8, 1-9, and then we got the 2. And then it was after that it was Skadoodle managed to got the plant after sniping someone again, but CLG got the round. It was just like they were just like back and forth trading kills. People were dying left and right. Like everyone was going off. I think it was Cutler and Tark were doing the majority of the work from what I saw, because PTR wasn't as hot as he normally is.
Cutler had a great day.
Cutler had a great day. He was
for the C9 game. For the C9 game and for this game, Peter, he did work, yes, but he also got caught out in a lot of positions.
Yeah, he got caught out a lot of.
I don't know if he was just like off his game, but he wasn't like in his normal shape.
They had him playing aggressive positions, and when you're against a
also like the aggressive positioning, and also the fact that they had like the op changes, which you guys mentioned. So I mean, some people are saying like him along with the other people who are big on ops, like JW and Kenny S, are like got affected by the changes.
Yeah, you saw.
So maybe that's it.
Kenny was just not. You saw how Kenny was doing. He just like it just wasn't working anymore. The magic wasn't there. And it was kind of sad watching how Titan just happened, watching Titan just slowly come without Kenny.
So maybe that had something to do with it. I'm not sure.
So in the end, the game was extremely intense just because it went to overtime.
Yeah.
So CLG somehow, after going down 2-13 on their CT side, CLG went 2-13 on the CT side. We've heard that before. So they go down this 2-13 and then are able to reverse it and get a 13-2 T side. So match Elevate, then play an OT.
Yeah, but I think
come even in the first OT and
double overtime, buddies.
Double overtime was great. In the end, Tarek pulled off the win with a 4K in the last round, which was just
God bless Tarek.
Right?
Yeah, that was. I think that was all the ups and downs I needed for the next couple of weeks because
like that game was classic.
For the next couple of weeks, we got lands coming.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about those, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. So we're gonna be moving on past the CS:GO stuff. CLG won both of their matches. One of them was the best of 1. One of them was the best of 3. Even though we won the best of 1, we couldn't move on to the LAN stage because Luminosity forfeited. So Halo, I watched a little bit of it. We didn't get to see all of it. Jim has been crying out for official VODs for like God knows how long, and I've just been yelling at him to go check out the player streams because the players actually stream the stuff. So
but I want to see something like swaps between teams. I want to see the angles and.
That's a really
I don't need
frustrating
commentary.
part.
I don't need commentary.
Jim. We don't care about your needs, Jim.
Yeah,
So, but that's like a really frustrating part about the Halo scene as a whole, though, because for League of Legends, you've got like r/LOL event VODs, and at least for the CS:GO games, you've got like Gosu Gamers or some kind of source. But for
let's
Halo,
start up a casting site. We'll cast all the CLG games, and then like we'll have like the VODs, and then spectate them. But first, we need to buy an Xbox.
Can you pay me as much as my day job does?
No, we can do we'll pass over the VODs later. We'll pass over the VODs later. I'll just get I'll get an Xbox and start spectating, and then we can cast it over later. And we'll make fat Halo bank.
Fat Halo.
Fat with a PH.
My Bungie at you. Wait.
So, Does it even have a spectator? I think it does because there's commentators who do this stuff. Or
so Halo Preseason Cup 2.
We got our first round bye. Second round we played the One Children, 2-0 them. Sunset Ballers, 2-1. Double Black, a familiar face from last season, 2-1. And then we played Cloud9, 2-0. And then we played EG, which was started off really well, 2-0. Heads up, we were winning up by 2, and then
lost 3 in a row.
I want to make it sound a little bit nicer. It was.
Yeah, it was up 2 and then lost 3. Are you kidding?
So we were Team Liquid in Halo this week.
Or Curse Academy.
Curse Academy. So
Academy.
Oh God.
What I had to say about this week is that the status quo returneth.
Hey, we're number one. We're number one.
In terms of standings,
don't take this away from me.
Preseason Cup last week, Team Rando wins. EG gets knocked out pretty early. CLG makes it only to round to the third, fourth match. If you watched the video last week, it was just is this an entirely different Halo scene? Did something change? This week kind of went back on that, though. Who knows? We'll see. There's more Halo coming up week by week now. So
it's going to be we're talking about the Halo West Sky having next week, but this week it was that was the only tournament they had. Second place to EG 3-2 final. We lost it in the end. VoDs are unavailable except for the Cloud VoD, so go over to his stream, check out his past broadcast. It was pretty good games, I think.
I think it was the second game against EG. There was some really top-notch plays, and one of the things with watching player VoDs is you get to hear communication. Yeah. So if you want to hear see how having a strong aimer like the FFA sort of player that Cloud is, replace Hines and see how they're able to mesh as a team strategically compared to the last HCS. It's worthwhile to go take a listen in.
Okay. Yeah, but I think that HCS is not something that should be a major issue. It just should be just practicing trying to gel as a team, and then we should really be focusing on Iron Gaming Atlanta, which is going to be in about a week or less than a week. So we're going to be talking about that in a couple sections later. So moving on, games and plays of the week. We're going to have our great editor put it over the top, and it should be from the CS:GO game, which was should be during the CS:GO game, which was against Elevate. But if we can't find VoDs for that, it will be another one. Okay.
I'm flash cat. Yeah, that's me. Could be car. One's on cat for sure. He was on cat. Just be careful. He has an M4 on cat.
Car is clear.
Also, on cross. Could be double box. He could go close. I'll flash high for you.
I have your cat.
Oh, we're all lit. Sky, you gotta come with us.
Yep. No, it's fine. He's speaking it. He's pushing long to the pit.
Here's my ult.
Oh, 5 health mid.
He's in pit or something, yeah.
Yeah, one
pit
CT.
And mid door.
One CT. CT. 5 health. He was by mid double door.
$15.
Nice plant, at least.
Got the bomb.
How the hell do you plant there?
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Indeed.
All right, so moving on, player of the week. Guys, I would really like to give that player of the week to, Double It from the analyst desk.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I would have to give it to one of the CSGO guys because they're doing absolute
Cutler.
Great. Cutler. All right then.
I like Cutler's performance. I think Tarek's been playing quite well, and I say him quite a bit. I say a lot of the CSGO team has been playing quite well. I mean, in the Nuke game, I think Tarek got like 4 3Ks, and he made the winning round happen in the CSGO match just today. Though, with the upcoming Halo stuff, I really want to see if we can pull something out of there, because I'm pretty sure we saw some really nice plays.
It's just really hard to find VoDs for them.
Yep.
The Halo scene is great. Yeah, Halo.
Also, a lot of it feels like the CS:GO team feels pretty clutch, which is why it's easy to get like
Wait,
these.
so
really
you mean
cool...
they're not actually chokers?
Hey,
I was told they were.
Hey, no,
chokers.
hey, man. Okay, according to Zion's interview, he wasn't. They weren't chokers, right? Or was it Zion or Double?
Yeah.
If they weren't chokers, they're just a little bit upset. Come on, man.
Yeah, you go
There's a
down 2
difference.
games.
I was
if you're
told
not
that
a,
Tark was an article of female jewelry.
you
But
talking
yeah,
about
no,
chokers?
like, the CS:GO team, like is really clutch. They've got a lot of really good plays under their belt, which is like makes it easier
That sounds
to
like
make
this-
them a player of the week. You know?
Yeah, I hope they stay together for a long time to come and they can be as good in NAS.
Yeah, I have faith in the
Good,
CS:GO team. I have so much faith in the CS:GO
You know,
team.
like just like LOL, it's okay, you can just be there, but then
I
like
mean-
we're all proud of CS:GO and you can be. Why can't you be more like your younger brother?
CS:GO is
All like them.
it's like the child, like the youngest child that you just want to like hug and be like, yes,
Thank God you're here. Otherwise,
do better than your older brothers.
Your older brother's a deadbeat dropout who's too busy.
Oh, jeez.
Oh God, that's actually what they are, though. You can't even lie.
He's a stoner boy. Stoner boy.
Like
I'll
they were
just-
like
I'll
the
just-
honor student
He had a
one.
he had a hot girlfriend in high school. That when he got into college, he just became a stoner and just didn't do anything. You know. And then when
Yeah.
he comes back, he smells like Frito Lay's and like marijuana.
Stop, Taco Bell.
Yeah, but then
Well,
he's
Taco
gonna
Bell.
then he's gonna start a tech empire. I believe it.
Okay.
He's gonna drop
Okay,
out of
well,
college
we
and
still-
start a tech empire and create the iPhone in his garage.
The iPhone. I think Apple started like that. I think you mixed up Microsoft and Apple.
Steve
was.
Jobs dropped out of college, you know.
No, but Steve Jobs was like, yeah, he dropped out of college, but he wasn't. He was. There were a lot of people who did.
And Bill Gates, or no?
Bill Gates, yeah, dropped out of college too.
Yeah, what?
No, but
and
I don't
Mark
think.
Zuckerberg.
I
Screw
think-
Gosh,
this.
man. Gosh.
God. What happens if What happens if they're just another stoner? What happens if they're just another stoner?
Oh, well. Either way, we've kind of segued into the what's coming up with LoL, right?
Next week.
To some degree, yeah. So my notes on this is we're going to have a shit ton of roster speculation and general
And then
silliness.
the dust is gonna settle. It's gonna be like Link is on the roster, Double is on the roster, Afro is on the roster, and then we have Corey in the jungle. It's like,
I'm pretty sure my speculation is the roster is going to remain the same unless there's some sort of Hotshot, like, I don't know, does some trip around the world and makes the most amazing things happen. I don't
Unless
know.
Hotshot gets Faker, let's just chill. Okay.
Yeah, no,
hey,
exactly.
Easy Who will totally leave
I think the
SKT
team
for
is-
a sixth place LCS team, right, guys?
I think the team as it is, like individual players and skill wise, is fine. That's my opinion.
Hey,
And-
I can totally see Link playing Faker and not totally dying every other set.
Stop. I didn't.
Oh.
Hey, no,
Ah.
he buys Flash, so there's no way you can die, unless you
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
by bang.
Oh, and then
Everything.
another thing to look forward to within League is we're
confirmed.
expecting a great and glorious vlog out of.
They also promised us a house tour. Like,
Hey,
come
that
on,
was
man.
only 3 months ago.
Yeah, right?
The documentary only took 6 months to release.
well,
We still
don't
have
worry.
3 more months to wait. Calm down, Cry.
Okay. Whatever.
It'll
Whatever,
happen.
Hotshot.
It'll happen.
Okay.
The gold
Yeah.
engage will be coming soon.
And that's
Golden Gate.
that's about it to expect from League, right?
Yeah, there's nothing much for League for a while. Maybe some stream highlights? Huh?
I mean, if you've been looking at the League of Legends subreddit, there's all kinds of stream highlights.
You know, they take care of that for you.
We try to cross post them, but a lot of you guys just don't want the free karma. I don't know why. It's just like you just post the highlight reel over there, and then
I
everyone.
mean, if you go to the CLG subreddit, you go to the League of Legends subreddit. So it's like, what's
no, but
the-
you just post it over here, so we just like not have to look over there in that cesspool that we call mods.
I
Hey,
mean,
look,
CLG.
look,
Like,
aren't
they're
you
both
glad that-
cesspools,
Aren't
okay?
you glad that the League of Legends subreddit doesn't have me as a mod?
Yeah, like all the cesspool of mods
well,
over on the
well,
TSM subreddit.
Oh, I know, right? That Azure guy sucks dick. I mean, like he totally just like. I mean, he's like literally cancer incarnate.
When
right?
you say sucks dick, you're talking about Reginald, right? Like you're talking about how
yeah.
Azure sucks.
Stop!
Mhm.
I hate that.
Very, very tight
Did
relationship
you mean
there.
like delicious? Okay,
delicious.
sorry.
Yeah.
Down for
CSGO?
CLG sucking dick.
Yeah, CSGO, guys.
Okay,
Next.
What's coming? What's coming?
CEVO
Yeah,
LAN
next-
finals this week.
Woohoo!
Weekdays. Woo!
It's already happening.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're dead in the middle of it.
We
We're
are.
fucking right in the.
We got it to the semifinals. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
14.
Yeah, we're in the.
elimination.
We won the first round. Have to win the winner of was it Nilium and Luminosity,
Mhm.
both of which I think have subs themselves. So it's potentially not expected the winner to beat CLG.
Except CLG.
And actually, we may have the result on that, but I don't have it in front of me.
I think Nilum is tomorrow, right? Oh no, they're doing it.
No, they're today.
So
The results probably out.
The
Actually,
games that we finished watching the Elevate game right before we started recording.
Yeah.
And arguing for
we
about an
haven't
hour.
read-
And then Wednesday,
Here.
Tuesday will be round 2, and then Wednesday will be round 3. So we'll probably by the time you
Wednesday's finals, isn't it?
Wednesday's finals, yeah. So Tuesday's
Yeah.
round 2, then Wednesday's finals. So by the time you see this, it'll probably be Tuesday or right before the Wednesday one. So you might be able to see the game. So check those out. If you can't check those out, check the VODs.
Okay, you know what I'll do for it.
ML
I just took a look. Yeah, it's easiest way to get to it. Like for the stream is you can go to Gosu Gamers and they have it pretty readily available within the match sections. And as of right now, so this Monday night, Nilium's up. They won the first map.
Okay.
So
whatever.
we could be playing them
Cheers.
tomorrow. You don't.
It's gonna crush them, right? We're gonna crush them. We've got past the quarterfinals. We can just crush everybody, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
And then the next thing, there's more CS:GO this week.
Yeah.
LAN.
ESCA LAN finals.
ESCA LAN
Woo!
finals this weekend. Starts on Friday. It's gonna be this weekend. It's gonna be
If you're
in Dallas.
get out there.
In Dallas.
It's gonna be out where Cry is in Dallas.
I'm in Houston, like 4 hours away. Anybody in Dallas want to get me an autograph, please? Okay, sorry.
Cry's begging for autographs.
Can I get
Yeah.
like a?
We'll do podcast
like
autographs.
So I'm trying to think,
that's
like,
gonna
how
be
would you do it? Could you get like a Cutler head graph? Like, I put some like fingerprint ink on his head and
Why would
roll
you
it on something.
What?
'Cause it's
Why?
better
Why
than
don't you
not
just get a
Why?
Sharpie?
Why can't you just get a... What is going on?
I'm not gonna take a
Everyone-
Sharpie on his head.
And so, why would you just get him to sign something, you dumb butt?
No, have you know like when you get an autograph, like when a dog signs something, it like
Are you comparing Cutler?
Pop-
Color's not a dog.
Okay, let's just move on.
I
Move
don't.
on.
That's why.
Okay,
he's
moving
the
on,
dog
moving on,
going
moving on. Guys, ESA LAN final starts Friday. It's this weekend. It's at Dallas, right?
Versus
Yeah.
Fnatic.
Okay, and then they're versus Fnatic in the first round.
We're gonna put Dust 2, we're gonna upset them, Glory, and then we're gonna lose the Elevate in the second round.
So just for other people who don't know the like changes in the scene recently, I correct me if I'm wrong in subreddit or something. I'm pretty sure. So the ESL, there was an ESL tournament this weekend, and Titan ended up winning that. Shit, I don't.
Didn't it get rolled?
It was Titan and Navi were the finalists.
I thought Navi won.
No, Navi probably won. I looked at it
Titan
earlier.
was looking like dog shit the entire tournament.
But okay, Navi won. I just I remember looking through it and didn't think of like.
Jim's wrong. And Cutler
Right?
also isn't a dog. God damn it.
That's why he's the dog and you're not. Yeah. Well, Fnatic didn't have a great performance in that LAN, given they were there, and a big affecting point is 2 of their players are super heavily nerfed by these changes in CS:GO.
Who are
like,
the players?
Olaf Meister is like the guy who is known
Hitting
to exploit. No, he exploits the shit out of the Tech 9.
Yeah.
Like you'll see like them go anti-eco rounds. Like the entire team buys out, but he's like, "Fuck it, I got the Tech Daddy. Gonna go or kill everything."
Calm down, Jim.
Sorry, I'm like.
You need more grunts.
I don't even have coffee right now. Shit.
Like Cry.
Are you sure? Are you
We're on your
sure?
age. Stop making these grunting sounds. We don't want to get flagged.
I'll make more grunting noises.
Stop.
Okay.
Alright, moving on. Okay, so
But the other little bit yellow.
yeah, but JW isn't looking good without the.
Well, exactly. Yeah, both JW and Olaf are in a way heavily nerfed. That doesn't mean that like let's say Crims and the other players on their team aren't going to be able to handle their respective roles, but it does affect their team in a large way, just specifically at what they're good at.
All right, moving on to the Halo segment. We have Iron Gaming Atlanta on 4/17, which is in 4 days, which is Friday, right? And this will be on a weekend?
They're happening the same time. The ESEA CSGO LAN and the Halo
It's on
LAN.
Friday. Yeah?
It's happening. It's across the weekend. The big one is this. So we've been talking about these HCS preseason tournaments. Iron Gaming Atlanta kicks off the HCS Season 2.
When it actually matters, stuff that actually matters now.
Yeah.
Yes, this is they're playing for points. This is the equivalent of the LAN that CLG Halo won.
Iron Gaming Columbus.
Columbus? Yes, Iron Gaming Columbus. This is effectively the equivalent, the kickoff LAN that CLG had won in the previous season. So.
No, we won Columbus. We lost St. Louis, and then we lost the last one. We were second place. We were top 2 in all of them, though. We won the first.
CLG had was top 2 in all 3 of the LANs last season and won one of the LANs.
That's just another way to say they're chokers.
If CLG is going to, if history is going to repeat itself, we're going to see a win here. And I mean, if history is going to repeat itself in something else, Team Liquid is going to lose this weekend.
Wait, Team Liquid's here? Oh, that Team Liquid. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Halo now? Wait, what?
I mean, did I not? I don't remember if I did here, but I'm pretty sure to other people I predicted that Team Liquid, it was destiny that they were going to beat CLG in the playoffs because they have to get 4th.
Mm-hmm. Stop.
Okay, so that should be it for that. We're going to be releasing a CSGO versus Halo thing. So hopefully for CLG fans to clarify the differences, hopefully drag some CS viewers over to Halo, even though they're coinciding.
And vice versa.
Vice versa brings them over. Because there's a lot of people who try to follow Halo and just don't get a lot of the concepts. So I think that will be, as us noobs, spectators, Bronze 5, people who don't do this stuff in this game, who aren't professional, we're trying to give
I'm effectively a grunt.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
You know those noises I was making earlier?
Stop.
See,
this is where I come
This is
in.
where
Stop.
this is where me and Cry tell you to go
Go.
do stuff.
All right.
Go do stuff. Nice save.
Nice
save.
I was gonna say go commit something. Go commit Sudoku, but then that's not nice to go tell someone that
go commit Sudoku. Did you what?
Yeah, go commit Sudoku because you're not telling them to go commit.
I got paper. I'll start.
Okay, moving on. Back to the thing. So I'm releasing a CS:GO thing, a Halo thing. It's gonna be great. You hopefully watch.
Likely it will be out before this video is out.
Yep.
If it's not, yell at us or something.
If it's not,
go in the comments and be like, "What the fuck, you guys? You're liars. You're terrible people.
Hopefully
you're ashamed of yourselves.
Hopefully,
Well, yeah.
Hopefully you like having me back because I'm gonna be back for a long time to come because Jim is.
He's a nerd. Sorry. ...
All right, so hopefully that I'll be back for the next couple of weeks and then I'll still be here. Jim is not going to be alone on this podcast because we can't let him have control over this because Jim is not responsible. So
he will take over this podcast, guys.
Yeah, it'll get really dirty really fast.
Yeah.
I'm starting Sudoku. You've already gotten me committed to it. I'm sorry.
All right. That's our outro, guys. Say everyone wave bye.
Goodbye.
Oh my god, I hate all of you.